So the next thing that I want to talk through, and Courtney, Sue, you guys are both do a lot of talking, and I think you just got back from Washington D.C. really talking about what's going on with talent within our industry, and everybody's talking about it. And there's really two main categories of what's going on within our industry. So I just want to set that up for anybody that doesn't have that background. You have on one hand, you have the demographics within our country of the age group between 45 and 65 that is just shrinking pretty rapidly, and that's due to falling birth rates, starting in 1960. And so you have to do things to attract and retain that management layer of the company, because those are the folks that have been doing something long enough to have made about every mistake possible, and they still have the runway in front of them to want to go make a difference within the organization. So that's kind of group one. Group two is over on the other side, and they're the people that are somewhere between 16 and 25 right now, that really, they came up through a high school program that didn't have any shop classes in it. They're just not really interested in construction at all. So, my question is, and just kind of, briefly go over your thoughts, starting with Sue, is how do incentive programs help mitigate the talent shortage? The both attracting people to the industry as well as retaining.
Yeah, I think there's several ways that it does that. The first one, I think, is that if you really take a good look at your company and look at the overarching idea of an incentive program, those things that are all basically non-compensation based, as far as non-paycheck based, are you really looking at things that can make you a differentiator, right? How can you differentiate yourself from other companies? Are you offering continuing education? Are you offering internal as well as external education? How are you developing your leaders? Are you showing growth in your organization through a scalable organization? Is your org chart growing over the next 2 or 3 years? You can show that there is opportunity to be made, an opportunity to work on, let's face it, some of the most fascinating projects on the planet. You can show that opportunity. People, those that really we want in the construction industry, those that are attracted to that sort of leadership, you need to show them that there are opportunities there. And if you're looking at an overall incentive program, you can do that through an organizational chart. They also tend to many people they're looking at, of course, their professional development. They want to be better people at the same time. So the personal management of that, and it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to detract. I had a guy that I was working with. He came in and he'd been heavy into change orders, writing change orders, getting change orders filled out. And he came in just kind of exhausted, and he's like, what can I do? I'm a little sick of this. I want to get a bit more into the finance side of things. I said, well, there's several things you could do. You could, tell you what, in the office, we could make sure that we're getting the Wall Street Journal. We can make sure that we are getting, a number of magazines brought here, that there's maybe a community college course if you wanted to take something there. He walked away with a list full of ideas and a plan that he was going to get back to me on the things he wanted to do. That, and along with his discussion of that with his workmates, made for a retained and happy person, right? He was already in the industry, looking for things to personally develop, and we were able to give him some of those for, $10 a month by having the paper delivered. It wasn't a big deal. He was able to help on the, I'll call it word of mouth retention in the office on that particular project, because he was talking about, hey, when I went in and had that open discussion, it was great. We were able to find some things for me to do. But it's also the word of mouth recruiting. If you've got a great incentive program, you really can differentiate yourself, certainly from other industries. We are going to get a lot more people coming into the industry, whether they're fit for one particular company or another, but we're going to get them coming into the industry in droves. We can show them the things that we provide. So, Courtney, did you have other items on that?
Not really. That was pretty good. I would just say that I would reiterate that incentive programs will mitigate the talent shortage by helping you become great planners with respect to talent. Who are the kind of people that we want on our team? And we recruit, hire, promote, and set up for success the kind of people that fit with our culture. An incentive program will tend to draw, if it's well defined, it'll tend to draw those types of people to you. If for example, if you have an incentive program that doesn't work well, then who cares, right? Then you're just a competitor for talent. If you have an incentive program that's really working well, people on job sites talk. Project managers talk across sub-trades and general contractors. And when they see and they talk among themselves and they see, well, XYZ company, man, they're awesome at what they do, and their PMs and their general, their executive PMs and their foremen and their supervision, they like working at this company because they can control their destiny. That's the kind of people they like to have there, and they do a great job supporting the project, right? So it actually improves our ability to plan for the right kind of talent that we have, and the word of mouth and those other things that Sue just talked about become, they develop an inertia.
I think one of the things that I see that excellent insight is that there's an education and kind of a selling component that really has to go into this. And so I know Sue's actually partnering up with somebody that is great with like a marketing person, a positioning person for the breakfast that she's giving on Thursday. But it's really, we see, when people get job offers or something, they look at their base compensation, and they pretty much go blank after that. It doesn't matter how long that job offer is. Most people tend to just tune out and go blank after that. And so it's really important to go show what your incentive programs are and how they change lives and things like that. There's definitely a selling aspect to those when it comes to both attracting people to the organization, but also retaining people. And I think that's something that's often overlooked because people will take it as being very obvious that it's there because that's just what you do as a company, but they don't really focus on how to go present that out to the market and as a differentiating factor.